Alright, you all know what Stop and Swap is, and by now you should all probably know that it was meant to go into several other games other than the Banjo series. I won't waste your time on much of that, and if you're especially adamant about this and are a fan of Donkey Kong 64, then you definitely know how the ice key is a leftover scrapped item in this game, and that there's the Banjo-Kazooie fridge or shower or locker or whatever it is in DK's house. And you probably also know how there's the unused cutscene in Exit of it showing that to you, and then it teleporting to the Chunky Pad room in Crystal Caves. Again, won't waste your time on that because you probably all know about those now older discoveries. However, something that has been more recently discovered that I haven't seen covered anywhere else or mentioned anywhere else, aside from the cutting room floor, are more connections to this in Stop and Swap, and I'm making this video now to get it out there more. So, as I just went over, there's that unused teleport to the Crystal Case room, but something that was more recently surfaced is that in the German player's guide, there's a difference between it and the more localized versions, being this cut path that's empty and doesn't end on here, that's not present anywhere else. It's not in the American guide, and it's not in the final game, of course, and there's a block door here, which definitely would have led to the Stop and Swap stuff. And there is a Japanese guide alluding to this area also, which directly mentions a mysterious item. Now, this might all seem a bit weird, but it should be noted that Stop and Swap was only removed about a month before the game went gold. They received a letter from Nintendo requesting that they remove all the Stop and Swap features, so they just hastily had to do it, and they did, according to an interview, by just removing the most surface bare-bone things that would lead to it, which explains why this stuff is still left over and why there could still be more remnants in guides such as the German one, just this one area that managed to slip through it. And furthermore on it, those of you who are into the more mysterious things in DK64, then you definitely recognize this pillar from Creepy Castle. Yeah, this thing that's puzzled players ever since the game came out, basically just because of how prominent it is and how much detail it has, for seemingly nothing besides like a banana balloon that disappears after you hit it once. And this is on the iceberg, and this is in that old famous DK64's Mysteries video that I love so much and reference a lot whenever I bring this game up. And people speculated on what this thing could be about, and we finally know now, because in that same German player's guide, there is an image in this room for a golden DK statue. Yep, this golden statue of Donkey Kong apparently will have spawned here. Can't see it again in any other guide, or obviously the game itself. And this also would have been connected to Stop and Swap somehow. Well, exactly, we don't know if this would appear after you connected it, or if it was an item itself that you would collect, and then that would go to another game. It's all speculation. And it's also unknown if this room would have originally been accessed the same before, because in the final you just take a tiny port to it. We don't know if maybe that would have been the way beforehand, if this would have been like locked behind Stop and Swap features entirely or what, and if it would have taunted you like the ice key. But yeah, that's the latest Stop and Swap findings, and there is one more to say that is just purely speculative with no further proof, and that is with the Mermaid room. And this room is always interesting because, again, like, this is such like a big special area, such like a big looking NPC that's like equivalent to the Banana Fairy, but you only come here like once or twice to see the mermaid first and then collect the pearls. I'm guessing you could just do it once if you get the pearls first, and you're only there for a few seconds. There's no real reason to swim around. I don't think there's even any extra collectibles here, and even though you probably won't get them, there are crystal coconuts that spawn beneath the floor, funnily, which means that they didn't care at the last second. But something else to note here that I've always saw and intrigues me, and you actually see a lot in randomizers because there might be stuff around here, is this odd window that's on one side of her room, and you could see there's a little path in there, and looking at this, like, yes, indeed, this does branch out, and there's more stuff in this. We don't know what the point of this is all about, why this detail was left over in here, like many other weird things, such as the cabin window in Fungi Forest, and again, like stuff like the pillar. This is still completely unknown, but it's speculated that maybe, again, a stop and swap related item could have gone in here and it would have opened up at some point. Who knows? Again, as I said, and as you can see here, I got off this info off the cutting room floor. All credit to there, so go read it all, but on there it's a very, very, very good read. A lot of interesting stuff on DK64 in that if you're a big fan of just games in general. And again, I made this video just because I've heard nobody else bring it up outside of there, and I just want to bring more attention to it and make it more surfaced knowledge, and maybe people can talk about it more, and maybe more research and findings can be done from it. Thank you for watching. Yeah.